So a lot of you write me and say that you want to live a better life. You know, it's kind of funny. Whenever I bump into people that watch my YouTube channel on the street, whether it's in Seattle or Las Vegas, Los Angeles, or here in Portland, almost always they reference one of the personal development videos. And that honestly is one of the reasons why I'm moving more towards that kind of content in 2018. But when so many people ask me, they say, Alex, I want to improve or change my life. What should I do? My answer is always the same. Read more books on personal development, all right? Now, I personally read on average probably about 100 or more books per year. 100. I realize that sounds like it's an absolute crapload of books, but in this video, I want to share exactly what I think you should do if you're looking to improve your life, which doesn't have to be books, but also how I managed to read that much while I have a ton of stuff on my plate already. Hey guys, I'm Alex Hine, author of the book Master the Day. Now, first of all, how do I manage to read 100 books a year? That sounds absurd and like a bold-faced lie. Well, the first thing is that I'm a nerd. Like, that's it. As a kid, I liked reading. I naturally gravitate towards books. So when I got into personal development and wanting to change my life, it was very easy to segue into just reading more personal development instead of reading books on whatever I was reading at the time, probably meditation, spirituality. So for me, the natural pivot was easy. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, I don't like reading, or I just don't read that much, or 100 books is absolutely insane. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I want to share how I managed to get that done. And I don't set aside, there is no block in my schedule, read book for an hour. That's not how it works. You know my schedule. I'm doing a 4-year doctorate. I literally got out of class yesterday at 8 p.m. after 7:30 a.m. I had to see patients for 4 hours, and I still managed to read and do all the other things I have to do, stay fit, whatever. The way I do it is typically 2 things. So my system is really simple. First of all, I have the Amazon app on my phone, so anytime a person and I am talking, if we're having a conversation, and a book that seems kind of interesting comes up, I just put it on the wish list. Now, my wish list right now is over 1,000 books, so there's a lot there. But I just continuously keep an archive of all the books that I want to read that are going to improve my life. Because if they don't help me now, maybe they will in a few years. And from there, really, the majority of the time I get my reading done is in one of 2 spots. It's either at the end of the night as part of my wind down ritual before bed. So at 11 o'clock at night, when it's wind down time, I either will watch a show or read a book. Now, for the last 10 years, it's mostly been reading. So all I do is from 11 o'clock until I feel tired, I'm reading a book. That could be till 11:20 or 11:45. So if you figure out, if you average, let's say, a page a minute, in just a half hour, that's 30 pages. And the fact is the average book I read is usually around 200 pages. So 30 pages a day, let's just say 5 days a week is 180 pages. That's almost a book right there, right? And now if you factor in the commute. So my gym is about 20 minutes away. That's the longest commute I have. Since I'm in grad school, I literally got an apartment across the street, so I have no commute. If I, previously when I had jobs, that was 20, 30 minutes each way. That's 1 hour you could have with an audiobook. Well, the average audiobook is about 6 to 8 hours, so you do the math right there. 1 hour per day, 6, 7 days a week, that's one whole book. So I was averaging usually about 30 pages a night of reading, and then about 30 to 60 minutes a day of listening to an audiobook. That right there is 2 books a week, 52 weeks in a year, that's over 100 books. So it's not very difficult to do. If you are looking to do this, or if you like reading and you're just a dork like me, that's not that hard to do, to be honest. Now, the second thing that I think is really important is consume information the way you want to consume it. I find that a lot of people, they think that books are the only way to gain information that can change your life, which is obviously not true. And I found that I would often project the fact that I'm a reader. I would give people books that had the information they should consume, that they needed to, they wanted to improve their life, but they weren't readers. And so I was basically trying to project my own desires onto them. And I find that we often tend to do this a lot. And so when it comes to getting information to change your life, dude, 2018 is amazing. You've got podcasts, you have video, you have books, all right? Those 3 big things, audio, video, and books. Obviously, you're here because you probably prefer the video content format. That's fine. There's tons of channels, including my own, on how you can actually improve your life. And so what I would do is try to figure out how to do that. But if you're going to do it with the intention of changing your life, do it in the way that like you're taking a class at school. So if you're going to watch a video, watch the video and take notes. Write down what you're going to do differently about your habits the next day based on that video. Same thing with podcasts. I have audio note recording on podcasts and on Audible, and on video, I have an entire file in my computer called Ideas, and that's all about the revelations I've had listening or consuming information to reach my business and my life goals. So I think the thing is, consume content in the format you like. You know, if you were not that good at school, you probably don't like reading that much. That's to be expected. So don't force yourself to read then. Just listen or just watch. But take it seriously. Like, treat it like you're taking a class in improving your life. And then the last thing here is to think about the 3 big windows for learning. For me, the big windows are the morning, the evening, and the commute. So the morning routine, I've shot a bunch of videos here on my own morning routine, is a peak time where you can listen to a podcast. You can listen to an audiobook. I've got tons of audiobooks I play through a remote recorder over there, just through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, while I'm getting ready in the morning. If I get up and I have 45 minutes before I have to go, do a little bit of yoga and some stretching, put some food, a healthy breakfast, on the stove, make some tea or some coffee, and just listen for 20 minutes. I mean, it's amazing how much of a better mood I'm in when I listen to something that's inspiring in the morning versus not. Like, just do a test for a week. Nothing in the morning, and then 1 week where you're listening to something that's about how to improve your life. I mean, it's totally different. It's like you hit the ground running. So the morning, the evening when you're winding down, or on your commute. I mean, there's really no excuse now in the era that we live where you can consume content in any format almost at any time in your life, in your day-to-day schedule. So for me, that's how I consume that many books per year. Personally, if you like reading like I do, then just read or just consume. If you do it with the intention of improving your life, the way I recommend extracting that information is just one thing. You read the book, you put together a 1-page summary. Here's an example of one of the ones I did in a book on relationships. And then you just put down 3 habits you're going to do differently. Because to me, knowledge is not power at all. It's only potential power. If I read a book on relationships and I don't change any of my habits related to how I treat my girlfriend, then, it was effectively worthless. If I don't remember anything, it was effectively worthless. So I think it's very important to turn that 1-page summary into 3 habits and implement those with your Master the Day ritual that I talk about. So that's the way I systematize both reading, consuming information, processing it, and turning it into daily rituals and daily habits. So I hope that helps. That is your tiny daily habit for today. Try to pick one of those blocks in the window of the day, turn that into a ritual that you can use to improve your life by consuming the kind of content in the format that you like.